Knockout Legends in the building. Like, comment, and subscribe. So today I want to talk about the press conference between Fabio Wardley and David Adelaide. So I'm going to play the clip and then I'm going to get right back into it afterwards. So with no further ado.
About a heavyweight that we all know in the UK very well and worldwide too, that being Ante Joshua. Look, his innovative training methods have been fuel to the fire for people who kind of like want to poke fun and say, look, this is someone who's not quite all there. He's been affected by his boxing career and is really trying to recover from that. Have you seen that innovative method as that perspective? Is it that, or is it something different? I was quite impressed by him saying I was watching Tyson Fury's documentary and I've seen weaknesses myself that I could exploit that if we ever fought. But maybe sometimes unfairly he gets the finger pointed back at him in terms of where he stands right now in terms of his mentality. But what's your reaction to these methods that he's looking to improve himself?
Like, he's just trying to do new things, and I don't see the problem of trying new things. That some things will work, some won't. What I like about AJ is that he knows, even now, he's a former unified heavyweight champion, that he's not the complete package. Why not try and add anything? Boxing's all about fine margins. If you can add something that can maybe take up and improve your mindset by 1%, you do it. And that's what he's trying to do. I think the biggest thing for him, and I always said this, is activity. He's got to fight 3 times this year, and it looks like we are going to get that 3rd fight this year. He's got to stick with a trainer. It looks like we are going to stick with Derek James. I think those are the things people should be focusing on rather than a lot of what comes out of Anthony Joshua's mouth, because sometimes, look, he might contradict himself. But look, I feel like he gets the rough side of the green. I feel like people critique him when they don't need to. He wants to fight. I mean, you look at Deontay Wilder, for example, 1 fight in 2 and a bit years, and that 1 fight was a round. Andy Ruiz, 1 fight, hasn't fought this year, 1 fight in 2022, 1 fight in 2021, no fights in 2020. We should be applauding heavyweights that want to fight rather than finding ways to critique them. So, look, I'm just happy that he's going to fight this year. My want and wish for him is that he does get the Wilder or Fury fights, regardless if he wins or loses. You can't have a career having those 2 around you in the same era and not fight them. And I think he'll get them, but hopefully he gets them sooner rather than later. Deontay Wilder's 38. Tyson Fury's 35. AJ himself's now just turned 34. So we need to see those fights. We need to see them quick. But look, I think it's a good thing that AJ stood around.
Finally, just sticking on AJ as the final thing, you mentioned about the fights that we want to see, and that being Wilder. I thought it warranted applause to see Deontay Wilder kind of finally come out and say something after being so silent in terms of fighting this year, and also silence from him just in general this year about fights. He said he wanted, let's dash all the talk to the side, let's fight, let's meet in the ring. It'd be a travesty if we didn't actually fight. That's a good step forward, I guess, for Ante Joshua and Deontay Wilder fight. But you also get kind of these on the outskirts, there's talk of maybe a Char fight happening or a Caballero fight happening, which isn't as appealing as a Wilder fight. Do you feel that we're more likely to see those 2 in the ring with Ante Joshua than we are a Wilder fight?
I really, really hope we don't see the Manuel Char fight. I've said that it's okay for AJ to have rebuilding fights. Again, this is the guy that lost back-to-back fights against Alexander Usyk. It's okay to step down if you want activity. And I felt like with Jermaine Franklin, and it should have been Dillian White, but I thought against Helenius, you're taking another step up. With Manuel Char, you're going down. Nobody is going to convince me in boxing that Manuel Char is better than Helenius or better than Jermaine Franklin. So I don't want to see that. I think Caballero's probably the same level as Helenius, so I don't mind that. I don't mind other names that have been mentioned. Osavolin's been mentioned as well. Hergovich has been mentioned. Those are the level of opponents AJ should be having. So he should be having if he's going to have a 3rd fight this year. Emmanuel Char, I just don't see what you get from fighting Emmanuel Char. I really don't. You can't even call him a part-time boxer. He's that inactive. So hopefully it isn't that. Hopefully it is a name that gives him a few rounds, because that's what we want AJ to have, right? And then we want to see AJ do what he did against Helenius, the back end of the fight. We want to see that sort of aggressive, more action-packed AJ. But Emmanuel Char, I think, takes all the good work that he's done this year backwards, because I don't see what you get. And then hopefully that leads into a good 2024. But look, one thing we've always said about AJ is we need to see him active. It's been 1 fight a year for too long. Finally now, at least we've had 2, we will get a 3rd. That's great, because no other heavyweight's giving you that. No other heavyweight in the top 10 is giving you 3 fights a year. So not even 3 fights a year, 3 fights in 9 months. So let's hopefully see him with a good name. Again, I'll take a Caballero. European champion. I'll take a Hergovic, unbeaten, just. I thought he lost to Zhang. I'll take an Otto Volin. I won't take Emmanuel Cha. I just can't accept it. And I can't accept. And if I'm on the broadcast, I have to be honest about it as well. Like, AJ should not be fighting Emmanuel Cha. Emmanuel Cha is the same level as a Trevor Bryan, and we saw what Daniel Dubois done to him. So hopefully it's a case of one step forward, not two steps backwards.
Ade, great conversation. Real pleasure speaking to you. Go enjoy the sunshine that I'm not currently enjoying, and have a good time at the event.
Cheers, my man. Thank you very much for having me on.
So from the clip there, Ade says quite a lot. And in pertaining to Anthony Joshua, he talks about, obviously, the news about him going into the dark room, and he actually points out that Joshua gets unfairly criticised by the fans. But I think it's down to the fact that he's a fan favourite and he could do no wrong, and he was a golden boy and also Olympic champion. So the British public are sometimes unforgiving. We will back you when you're winning, but if we see any kind of mental or sort of weaknesses, we kind of lose faith. I think the reason why we like Derek Chisora and we did like Dillian White so much is because they left everything in the ring. That's one of the reasons why they like Tyson Fury so much. He leaves everything in the ring. So even if he gets knocked down, he still gets back up. It's the heart and the courage. It's the actual aspect of being British, that proud, stiff upper lip thing where you have to perform and show that you're going to perform. So the fans will always get behind you when you do that. So maybe because Josh was just that little bit lacking, I don't think in the terms of a normal man, but like in the boxing standing things, sometimes he lets things get to him what he shouldn't let get to him. But I think that's just how he actually is, characteristic wise, and in his personality. I think he is actually a person that actually does take on board what people say, and it does affect him. He may not show it to a normal person, but to other boxers you can actually see it, because certain people get under his skin and can get under his skin kind of easy. I won't say normal, like average Joe civilians, but other boxers can. Like when Hellenius managed to wind him up, and then he was saying, "You're staring at me," and then it was kind of a bit weird him saying that, because he's a boxer. That's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to sell the fight. But Hellenius knows that mentally certain things affect Joshua. You've seen it with the Dominic Brazil. When Dominic Brazil was saying certain things, you could tell he was annoying Joshua. But there's a kind of fight, a contradiction within himself, where he's fighting his own persona and his public persona, or his PR persona, I should say. So there's that ongoing thing going on, and trying to, how do you put it, I don't know, not show the street or roadman persona as opposed to the PR persona. It's conflicting, it's contradictory, it's an oxymoron. So in a sense, Joshua is actually an oxymoron, because he's transitioned from street to corporate PR, but he's a boxer, but he needs to have that aggression and that kind of ruggedness in his persona, but he can't if he's selling certain images and certain personas to sell products. So it doesn't compute, it don't work. That's maybe now we're seeing a little bit more of Joshua that's a bit raw around the edges, where he's saying things and he's doing things and he doesn't really care. Like when people said that it was a bit disrespectful in coming out of the ring, and that's coming back to Ade, because when Ade's forgotten, the video got taken down, that he was slating Joshua for certain things that he was doing. He didn't want to give him the interview. He said he was annoyed at him, this, that and the other. Now he's changed his tune. It's sort of like he's kissing ass and licking Joshua's bum, because obviously, you know, with this interview he's got to sell that kind of narrative in the right way. But fair enough, he is sticking up for Joshua because he's a fellow Nigerian, and it is kind of true what he's saying. Like he was saying, Joshua's going to be fighting 3 times in 9 months if he gets the next fight, but obviously he didn't want to see a Manuel Charr fight, which I find kind of right. I agree with that because no one wants to see Manuel Charr. He's not fought for years and he's held the WBA belt, regular belt, hostage for a long time, and then obviously somehow he's managed to get it back, or whatever. But I don't know that situation. It's just a crazy situation how they can let him be so inactive. But he lost the belt to Trevor Bryan, and then Daniel Dubois fought for it, and then somehow he's managed to get it back. And I don't know. It's just crazy. But no one wants to see the Manuel Charr fight. But I don't even think anyone wants to see the Caballero fight because Caballera's had a chance to fight other opponents as well. I think White, I think Fury's even give that fight to Caballero and that didn't come to nothing. So nobody wants to see it. I wouldn't mind seeing Wallin or Hrgovic just to see how Joshua would fare against them. One's a southpaw, one's a hard hitter, and I think they've met before, I think, Hrgovic and Joshua, so it would actually be good to see how much Hrgovic has progressed and how good he is compared to Joshua. And could Joshua deal with Wallin's speed and his technical ability? Because obviously Wallin's coming off that the Gassiev victory, so that would be a good fight as well to see. So nobody wants to see any of the other fights, but at this point Joshua does need to fight, and he should fight somebody a little bit better than the other 2 opponents he's fought, so there is that. But maybe they need to start looking at some of the American heavyweights and just pick out a good decent American heavyweight, because he's in America anyway. You could box on the zone in America and he's on the zone anyway, so why not? Instead of having to come all the way back here and fight in the UK and fight and try and fight a decent small horse show or whatever, because his stock's gone down. He's going to be either going back to the O2 or even somewhere even smaller than that. So why not go to America and try and sell out somewhere in America and fight a decent name heavyweight, what's going to bring bums on the seats? And with you being who you are, that will bring bums on the seat, and it might entice Wilder to get this fight on, because even though the interview is saying Wilder's trying to get the fight on, Wilder is not going to fight unless the money's right, and he's going to want a certain amount of money because of the purses he's been getting, because that's what Eddie Hearn said in his last interview. But not just that, with the interview saying that, with Ade saying that Wilder's not fought since the last Helenius fight, neither is Ruiz. It just goes to show all the fighters that think they're worth something, they're not fighting anyone unless it's a top name heavyweight and they're going to get paid a good amount of money. And that's the state of boxing at the moment. The only people that are daring to actually keep busy are proper boxers, which are going about the job to actually do the job. But it's if people want to fight them, there is that. So I don't know. Maybe Joshua should revisit the Jarrell Miller fight and fight him again. Why not? You've got nothing to lose, and it would actually exercise some demons that you were supposed to fight him before. So that would be a decent fight. You just have to make sure he gets checked for PEDs. But again, most of the boxes are on PEDs, because look how many people are popping dirty now. So, but anyway, leave your thoughts in the comment section. Do you agree with Ade's sentiments? Like, comment and subscribe. And that is another one from Knockout Legends. Peace.